Hey guys, welcome to the beginning of my playthrough of Everlasting Summer. It is sort of a dating sim. It's mostly just a visual novel. I hear it's kind of psychological. I hear it kind of tugs at the heartstrings. And I'm hoping it'll be at least a little bit funny. So I'm kind of wanting to do these episodes maybe like 30 minutes long, like Game Grumps does them. And just before we start the game, I want to give you kind of an overview of what this game is going to be like at first. So this is on the website for Soviet games, which this is a game that's, I think, in Russian, so it's translated into English, so hopefully it's good. Meeting Semyon, the game's main character, you would have never paid attention to him, just an ordinary young man with thousands, even hundreds of thousands of those like him in every ordinary city. But one day something completely unusual happens to him. He falls asleep in a bus in winter and wakes up in the middle of a hot summer. In front of him is Savyonok, a pioneer camp. Behind him is his former life. To understand what happened to him, Semyon will have to get to know the local inhabitants and maybe even find love. Find his way in the complex labyrinth of human relationships and his own problems to solve the camp's mysteries and answer the main question, how to come back. Should he come back? Alrighty, so now we're gonna read and play the game. This is free to play on Steam, by the way, if you want to get it. It's called Everlasting Summer, like I said. So this page made me laugh when I read it last night to test this game out. It says, this game is a work of fiction and its author's imagination. It does not aim to offend, insult, or discriminate anyone on a religious, social, economical, species, or any other basis. Any violation of the player's aesthetic sensitivity, active citizenship, or any other spiritual impulse lies on their conscience. Any resemblance of characters to your real or imaginary friends, neighbors, colleagues, tulpas is entirely coincidental. All the heroines are of 18 years old and have confirmed their consent on participating in this game in written form. An excerpt from the screenwriter's medical history can be provided on demand. The game does not contain any propaganda of voluntary or not ending one's life. Not a single mascot animal or human was hurt during the creation of this game. Happy reading. Okay. Ooh. Landscape shot. Establishing. I like that. So, if you don't know, that says Everlasting Summer. The only problem with this game is that the girls... Oh, we get some music. The only thing is that the girls in this game, I don't know how to pronounce their names. Now, I could look up their names for a future episode, but I'm mostly just gonna see what they like, because Russian letters look a lot like English letters, so I'm just gonna pronounce it however they look to be in English. So we're gonna go to new game. Oh my god, I didn't read it. It said Dear Pioneer or something. Ooh. Oh. I was having that dream once again. Sorry, I'm an actor. That dream. Same thing every night. But it's all forgotten in the morning as usual. Maybe it's for the best. Only a glimpse of memory will remain, of gates, half opened, as if inviting me somewhere, with two frozen stone pioneers standing close by, and also that strange girl, who keeps asking me. What's she asking? Oh, epilepsy warning a little bit. Will you come with me? Come? Like sex? But where? And why? And where am I anyway? Of course, if it all happened in real life, I would certainly have been scared. Well, what else would one expect to feel? But this is just a dream. The same one I see every night. There must be a reason. You don't have to know where or why to realize something is really happening. What is he talking about? Something desperately seeking my attention. Since everything that surrounds me here is real as things in my own flat. I could open the gates, hear the hinges creak, brush the crumbling rust away with my hand, inhale the fresh, cool air, and shiver from the cold. That was a long-ass sentence. There's a lot of commas. I do that in class. I do run on sentences too much. I could, but to do that, I would need to pick myself up, take a step, move my hand. But this is a dream. I understand that, but what of it? What does my understanding change? This is so philosophical. I can't even. Because here it's just like on the other side of the cracked screen of an old TV, which struggles to fight against static noise and strives to show its audience everything without missing a single detail. But the picture is getting blurry. I must be waking up soon. Of course not. Maybe I should ask her something. The girl. What's her name? About the stars, for instance. Why the stars, though? I'd rather ask about the gates. Yes, the gates. She would be so surprised. Or better, why the dot over an I is called a tittle, but the dot over a J was called a superscript dot? Nice letters. As if they don't exist anymore. What is he saying? Like, what is he saying? Still, what do letters, gates, and stars have to do with this place? You're the one talking. You're the one talking. Because even if I'm having this dream every night, which would be forgotten soon anyway, I've got to look for answers here and now. This game is confusing me. And there, if you don't look carefully, you can see the megalonic clouds. I see an owl. It's freaking me out. As if I'd ended up in the southern hemisphere. See how the gate says, like, something in Russian? I can't read Russian, so, like, I would just read it how it looks like English letters. So I would say Kobe Hawk. Even though that's not how you say it, I'm going to say Kobe Hawk. In a dream, there are small things that catch your attention. An unnatural color, couleur, of grass, impossible curves of straight lines, or your own distorted reflection, while the real danger, which could put an end to everything right here and now, seems trivial. It's natural, since here you cannot die. I know it for sure. I've done it hundreds of times. But if you cannot die, is there a point in living? Why don't you ask vampires that? They probably know the answer. I should ask the girl. She's a local. She should know. She's a local, therefore she should know if you can't die, then what's the point of living? She should know that. Yes, exactly. He answered my question. I should ask her about the owl, for example. Yeah, he's creeping me out. One strange bird it is. Though it doesn't matter. That's the sound I'm going to make whenever there's dots. Will you come with me? And every single time I have to answer. It's the only way, otherwise the dream will never end and I will never wake up. Oh, our first choice. Sure. Every time it's so hard to decide on the answer. Where am I? What am I doing here? Who is she? And why does so much of my life depend on this answer? Or maybe it doesn't. It's just a dream after all. Just a dream. Are we finally done dreaming? Hey, that's what I'm staring at, a keyboard. Wait a second. Is that Stephanie from LazyTown? That's Stephanie from LazyTown. On Reddit. Looking site. The computer screen stared at me as if it was alive. I say Stephanie staring at you. That's her name, right? Sometimes it really did seem to me that it was conscious of itself, had its own thoughts and wishes, ambitions, that it had feelings, could love and suffer. What does this have to do with anything? As if in our relationship, the screen wasn't an instrument. It was me who was a lifeless piece of plastic and text to light. The English translation is really good. There is some truth in that, probably because the computer provides 90% of my communication with the outside world. Anonymous image boards, some chats from time to time, rarely ICQ or Jabber, and forums even more rarely. This kind of relates to me. I feel like I'm online all the time. People on the other end of the internet cable simply do not exist. All of them are simply creations of its sick imagination, an error in source code or a kernel bug, which started living a life of its own. Okay, can we move on? I feel like this is how people without glasses see. You can just hear that eerie typing. It's freaking me out. I don't like it. If one looked at my existence from the outside, such thoughts would seem crazy, and a psychologist would surely give me a bunch of sophisticated diagnoses and maybe write me a doctor's referral to the loony bin. Yeah, I would. You're fucking insane, dude. I don't relate to you at all. right now. You're a bit too philosophical for me. A small apartment with no signs of repair or any semblance of order in it, and always the same view out the window on the gray megalopolis running somewhere day and night. Such are the conditions of my life. Somebody with a really good English vocabulary must have done this. Well, of course, it didn't all start like this. I was born, went to school, and finished it, like all the others. I was accepted at university when I spent a year and a half trailing behind and struggling. Don't we all our first year? I'm in university right now, if you're wondering. I drifted through several jobs. Sometimes it was working out quite well, sometimes I wasn't even getting decent money for it. But it all felt like it was not mine, as if taken from another man's biography. It wasn't living life to its fullest. It was looping over and over in monotonous circles. Don't worry, I'll stop the game once we actually meet a woman. Like in the movie Groundhog Day. Yeah, that is a good movie. It's just that I had no choice in how to spend my day, and every day repeated itself, the same vicious spiral. A spiral of emptiness, misery, and despair. This guy's gonna kill himself if he doesn't meet a woman soon. For the last few years, I just sat in front of a screen all day. Don't I know it? Sometimes there were menial jobs, sometimes my parents helped me. All in all, I was able to provide for myself. No wonder, really, since my needs are quite minor. I hardly ever leave my home, and my communication with other people almost exclusively consists of online correspondence with the anonymous, who have no real name, no gender, and no age. So this is like life during quarantine, huh? So in brief, a quite typical life of quite typical antisocial person of his time. Kind of Donnie Darko on a minor scale without doomsday-related visions. This guy knows his movies. Maybe some highly respected author, that's not how you spell author, will write a novel about me and it will become a contemporary classic of modern literature. Or I will write one myself. You fucking should, dude. I could listen to you go on for hours. However, what's the point of fooling myself? I tried many times but couldn't even come up with a simple short story. As a creative writing minor, I understand that. I tried to learn many other things as well. Not gifted enough to draw. Programming, got bored. Foreign languages, takes too much time. The only thing I loved doing was reading, but still, I never would have called myself a scholar. Perhaps I was an ace at watching anime and a grandmaster of lame internet jokes. If I were to get paid for it, I probably would be a happier person, and a richer person too, but I doubt it would fill the hole inside me. So get a girlfriend. It's not impossible. Today was another typical day of a typical failures typical life. And today is the day when I have to go to my university reunion. Frankly speaking, I really didn't want to. What is the point? The time I spent with them was so short. However, I was persuaded by a friend, my former university mate, and one of the few with whom I kept in touch with other than through the internet. Okay, come on. Ooh. Not bad visuals. You could turn this into a cute game. Ooh. Oh, damn, that was 3D. Slenderman? No, not exactly. Oh, I have a beard. There's anime at the bus stop. Frosty evening. Bus stop, waiting. I never liked winter. Though hot summer is not my season either. It's just that I see no reason to point out any particular time of the year. It doesn't matter much that the weather is outside when you stay at home 24/7. The bus today was running late, so late that I was about to curse it all and spend my last few hundred rubles for a taxi. The idea of just returning home didn't cross my mind for some reason. As usual, millions of thoughts flew through my mind, and there was not a single useful one to seize on. Such a thought that you could bring into existence, give a shape, turn into an idea, and put into practice. Maybe I could start my own business. But where would I get the money from? Or maybe I could go back to working in an office. No way. Maybe I should try freelancing? What skills do I have, and who would want me after all? Who would want you with your philosophical ass? I suddenly remember my childhood. Or rather my teen years, the time when I was 15 to 17 years old. Why exactly those years? No idea. I guess it's because back then everything was much more simple. It was easier to make decisions, so complicated now and so simple then. Waking up in the morning, I knew exactly how my day was going to pass, and I eagerly looked forward to every weekend. Then I could get some rest and have time for the things I liked: computer, football, going out with friends. And then at the beginning of next week, I'd take up my studies again. Back then, there were no such worrying questions like why, who needs it, what will change if I do it, or what will not change. A simple lifestyle, so casual for any normal person, and so odd to myself today. That careless childhood age. It was also then that I met my first love. Her appearance and personality have vanished from my memory. Only her name remains, like a brief line from a social network profile, along with the feelings which overwhelmed me when I was with her. Affection, tenderness, the desire to care for her and protect her. Sadly, it didn't last long. Today, I can hardly imagine something like that happening. You don't even know. I would probably like to meet a girl, but I don't know how to start a conversation, what on earth to discuss, and how to attract her. Well, I haven't met any suitable girls for a long time. But where could I meet one anyway? I wonder. The sound of an engine brought me back to reality. A bus pulled over. There was something ignorable about it, I thought. And then again, it doesn't matter. Only the 410 runs this route. You hear that? It's magical. Oh my god, it's on fire! Streetlights pass me by. It's as if their cold light sparks inside of me, trying to ignite feelings long dead. Or maybe not ignite, just awaken them. Because those feelings, they've been living in me for a long time, slumbering and waking up again. The driver's radio was playing some very familiar tune, but I wasn't listening to it. I was watching the cars passing by through the fogged-up window. Because people are always rushing everywhere, chasing something they need, stuck in their own little worlds. Why would they care about mine? They probably have their own serious problems, or maybe they have much easier lives. We can't know for sure, since all people are different. Or are they? Sometimes someone's actions can be easily predicted, but if you try to look inside his soul, you will see only impenetrable darkness. The bus was approaching downtown, and my thoughts were interrupted by the bright city lights, hundreds of billboards, thousands of cars, millions of people. I watched this light show, and somehow I got terribly sleepy. My eyes closed for just a moment, and then... Ooh, shit, what is it? Oh. Ooh. Down, yeah. Bam. Is this a music video? Yeah. Add this shit to my soundtrack, man. Oh. Oh. I'm gonna call her Crab. I'm gonna call her Ayeha. She will be Yabra. She will be Ayuka. She will be Mookie. Alright, we got 5 women. Everlasting summer. So that was just the introduction, Jesus. Day 1. Alright, let's get fucking started. I'm ready. I want to give you a little bit of action before, I just end the episode. Bright daylight struck my eyes. At first I didn't pay attention as I wasn't fully awake yet. On their own, my legs carried me towards the door. Damn, looks like I fell asleep and missed my stop. But there was no door. I looked around the bus and realized that it wasn't a good old worn-out Liaz. Instead, the bus was an Icarus model, a new one. I froze in shock. How? What? Am I dead? What? Who? Have I been kidnapped? No, I must be dead. I patted myself down feverishly, slapped myself painfully in the face a few times, banged my forehead on the back of one of the bus seats. It's clear. Either I'm still alive, or you can still feel pain when you're dead. But how could this happen? Maybe I slept for too long and ended up at the bus depot? And then what, did they put me onto another bus? This sounds hilarious. Wouldn't that be funny? I rushed out and took a look around. Greenery wherever I looked, tall grass on the roadside, trees, flowers. Summer! But how? It was winter just a moment ago. My head was aching unbearably, as if it was going to explode. Slowly I began to remember. What could you possibly remember? Oh my god. A long road running off into the distance, forests, plains, fields, lakes, and forests again. I think I was sleeping, but then how can I remember all of it? And then, gap. Some girl leaning over me. She softly whispered something into my ear. Then a gap again. And then I woke up here. Who was that strange girl? Or was she just a dream? For some reason, thinking about her made me feel better and calmed me down a little. I felt warmth all over, coming from the inside. You know what he's talking about. Could it be her who brought me here? Then I need to find her, and the best place to look for her is away from here. I rushed to the left, then to the right, then stopped, hesitating over where to go. Finally, I ran in the direction from which the bus had probably came. Physical exercise does refresh one's mind. Thoughts become clearer, and it gets a little easier to evaluate the surrounding reality. Not in my case, however. I was sitting on the roadside, wheezing and trying to ease my sore throat by gulping breaths of hot air. In any case, the run did its job. The fear withdrew for a while. Maybe I really am just dreaming. Though recalling my self-harm on the bus, I immediately rejected the idea. I am neither dreaming nor dead. A narrow road ran through the field and far into the distance. The exact same road from my dream. I must be very far away from home. And it's not just that it was winter yesterday and it's summer now. It's the whole environment. Of course, summer is usually like this, green and hot, but here everything is not entirely lifelike. Everything looks like it was taken from the paintings of Russian landscape artists of the 19th century. If you really want to brag about yourself. The grass is just too lush. The bushes are not like what bushes should be. They're so thick that you can't see anything through them, like treetops, honestly. And the trees themselves. The forest was quite far away, but the trees looked as if they had closed their ranks and were now just waiting for the order to advance onto the fields and plains. I caught my breath and looked at the bus, which was now barely visible. That was a good run. Fear overtook me once again. Those power lines. There must be people here. But what does it mean? In fact, that means nothing at all. Couldn't they have power lines even in hell? Roasting sinners over hot coals? That's so last century? I must have reached the point of no return, after which you should either lose your mind completely or finally try to understand what is going on. And while I still have a choice, I should pick the second option. I slowly head back to the bus. Of course it was scary, but I'm not likely to find an answer in the fields or the woods, and this wretched bucket of bolts is the only kind of link that I have with the real world. Oh, Kobe Hawk. I'll write that down. Kobe Hawk. That's how I'm pronouncing it, and you can't stop me. I should carefully scout the area. If anyone's Russian, let me know. Oh. Sovyonok means owlet. A brick wall and its gates crowned with the Sovyonok sign. Statues of pioneers standing on either side, and a road sign nearby showing the bus number route 410. This trip's taking a bit too long today. I smirked. A person may start aching inappropriately in extreme situations. Something like that is probably happening to me now. This place didn't look abandoned at all. No rust on the gates, no damage to the walls. Sovyonok. What could have a name like that? Judging by the pioneer statues, it could be a kid's summer camp. Moreover, it appears to be open. Of course, the simplest explanation, logically speaking, explains nothing at all. The strange girl, the altered bus, summer, the pioneer camp. Thousands of theories went through my mind instantly, from alien abduction to lethargic sleep, from a hallucination to a time and space shift. None was worse than any other, but there was really no way to pick a single one. Then it occurred to me, I could try to make a phone call. I took out my cell phone and dialed the first number on my contact list. No service, huh? Instead of a signal strength bars, the screen was showing a thick cross. Alright, there may be no signal in such a remote place, though I cannot be the only one who came here. Buses don't drive themselves. I examined the bus from all sides to make sure that it wasn't a hallucination. Bits of dirt on the bottom, some rust here and there, faded paint and worn-out tires. No, this was definitely a very ordinary Icarus. Yeah, exactly the kind of bus which takes you to places beyond your understanding if you carelessly fall asleep. I gave a nervous chuckle. It came out by itself, sporadically, because this wasn't the right place or time to laugh. But where on earth is the driver? I cautiously sat down on the curb beside the bus and waited and started to wait. My patience didn't last long. My anxiety seemed to have reached its peak, and I started to go slightly mad. In such a situation, anyone would have probably felt something similar. Aliens and parallel universes were gone from my imagination, leaving only void and darkness. Is this how everything will end? How my life will end? But I wanted to do so much. There were so many things that I hadn't time for yet. I was overwhelmed by the idea, but this was definitely the end. But why? It's not fair. Surely I'm no worse than anyone else. God, why? Oh, we're blinking at this point. Tears were burning my eyes unbearably. I curled up and started rolling in the grass. Why? What did I do? Why me? My cries were only heard by the speechless statues of the pioneers and a bird on a tree, which immediately flapped its wings and took off, crying out something in its own bird language as if laughing at the idiot who dared to interrupt its after-dinner nap. I was left breathless from weeping and just lay quietly, sobbing occasionally. Stop blinking. After a while, I managed to pull myself together. My mind cleared up a bit as if terror and the fear of death gave me a little break. All in all, if someone wanted to kill me, what is all this for? It doesn't look like an experiment either. If this is just some crazy coincidence, then there's probably no threat. Anyway, for now, it seems there's no danger. The panic was soon gone. Of course, the blood was still pounding in my temples and my hands were still shaking, but at least I could think clearly now. Right now, there is nothing I can really change anyway. So no matter how much I think or how mad I get, it will only make things worse. Yes, so do something, please. Until some actual facts appear, there's really no point in making guesses. In any case, I won't learn anything by lounging around here. The camp, if of course it really is a camp, looked like the only place where people could be, so I decided to go there, and hardly had I reached the gates when a girl came out from behind them. Crab! Her name is Crab, okay? That's what her name is gonna be. My logic didn't let me down this time. Then again, a pioneer uniform in the 21st century? And then again, a girl here. I froze, unable to take a step. I felt very much like running away. Running as far away as I could from this place, far from this bus, gates, statues, and far from this bloody bird with its siesta. Just running, free like the wind, faster and faster, waving to the planets passing by, winking at the galaxies. Running, becoming a pulsar ray, and turning into vestigial radiation, running to face the unknown. Run no matter where, as long as it's far away from this place. Oh, she came closer. She came closer and smiled. I could not help but notice her beauty, even though I was trembling with fear. Human instincts worked independent of consciousness, and while only 5% of the brain is responsible for cognitive processes, the remaining 95% are always busy sustaining life, and in particular, ensuring stable functioning of the hormonal system. I desperately wanted to get less complicated and stop thinking in formal quotes from an encyclopedia, though my thoughts appeared one by one being stupid, out of place, as if taken from an internal monologue of the hero of some junky, soft-cover crime fiction book. No, just a dating sim. A pretty Slavic face, long braids that looked like 2 armfuls of fresh hay, and blue eyes you could drown in. Hi, you must have just arrived. Yeah. Yeah. Alright then, welcome. Sorry if you don't like that voice. She smiled broadly. Strange, it looked as if I had just a normal girl in front of me. Bah, I shouldn't have returned here. The woods and fields seemed better. But what shall I do next? Try to speak with her as if she was a human, or run away, or what? The blood was pumping unbearably in my head, tearing it apart from the inside. A little bit more, and the poor pioneer girl would be splattered by the gruesome contents of my skull. What's so funny about that? The girl looked me over. It sent shivers down my spine, and my knees started to tremble. Nothing. Great, then. Great. What's so great about that? Suddenly a thought crossed my mind. To hell with it all. Forget about the bus behind me, the fact that it was winter yesterday and summer today. I want to rip off my itchy sweater and to accept that all of this was actually happening. Everything is as it should be. All this is for the best. Would you happen to know... You should go to our camp leader. She'll tell you everything. Look. You go straight ahead to the square and then turn left. You'll see several small cabins. She pointed at the gates as if I knew what was behind them. Oh. Well, you can ask someone where Olga Dmitrievna's cabin is. So a patronymic, the derivative of the father's name, Dmitri, put by Russians after the person's first name as a sign of respect or formal address. Alright. So someone's name is Olga. What's your name, Crab? Got it? Of course I didn't. Well, I've got to go now. The girl waved her hand at me and disappeared through the gates. It seemed as if to her I was something ordinary. And all this show with the bus and the travels while awake or asleep were troubling only to me, while everything here is just the way it is supposed to be. Camp leader, pioneer uniform, what are they doing, a historical reenactment here? I hope I won't find Lenin standing atop an armored car in the square, but even that would not surprise me right now. After standing alone for a while, I headed into the camp. A mere 50 meters ahead, a small one-story house popped up on the left side. I actually might stop the gameplay here because it's getting kind of long. It's over to 30 minutes. So I hope you enjoyed the introduction. Sorry not much happened, but hopefully it's going to get more interesting as time goes on and we like meet the women and kind of get into this whole story. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next part.